Hello and welcome to the Failsafe Fitness Golf Show, episode number 2. My name is Michael Joshua. I am the owner of Failsafe Fitness Limited, and welcome to 2024, the second outing of this format of the podcast. If you listened throughout 2023, thank you very much. Please like, subscribe, and share. Straight off the bat, we'll get that out of the way. If you do find any of this information interesting, or you want some more information on fitness and nutrition and exercise surrounding golf and golf performance, then don't hesitate to get in touch. All the links are in the description below. It's going to be a good show this week. Obviously, PGA Tour, LPGA Tour, DP World Tour, all back into full swing as of this week. Going to be very, very interesting indeed. So let's crack into that news first. Where are they playing? Why are they playing? So PGA Tour, they're going to the American Express in California this week. Obviously, there are going to be a couple of the big stars, such as Rory, missing from that. They will be at the DP World Tour event in Dubai, the Dubai Desert Classic, which is the start of the Rolex event series on the DP World Tour. So that's the boys out the way. LPGA Tour returns as well this time round this week. So there are 33 official events for the LPGA Tour this year, 35 in total. And there's $116 million of prize money up for grabs on the Ladies Tour this year, which is up nearly 70% since 2021. Their first event will be the Hilton Vacation Tournament in Orlando. So it's going to be interesting to see. All three of those big tours are back up and running. Some big events coming very shortly. Nice to see the ladies back. I do miss the ladies' golf. I think it's very interesting to watch. I think the way they play golf reminds me of how the pros through the early 90s used to play golf. Very controlled, very tactical, and premeditated golf. Whereas I think the men's game these days is more distance orientated, and the conversation about setting golf courses up, forcing the players to play golf like the ladies play golf, it just doesn't seem to be a conversation that they're having, and I think it should be. I think they should be putting bunkers in or shortening things and giving the risk reward. I don't mind seeing an event go to 30 under par on the PGA Tour, because I know as an amateur golfer, I'm never going to get to do that. No one's going to get. And I think having someone where birdies are going to be winning a tournament rather than bogeys losing a tournament, I think that's better for a sport. If you can see someone doing something really well down the back nine or down the stretch, last three holes, no birdie birdie eagle or birdie eagle birdie or whatever, I'd rather see that win a tournament than, bogey double bogey. It's just the way I like to see the golf, and I think the men's game conversation around distance isn't necessary. I think the conversation should be about how can we make golf more fun to watch? And Tiger used to make it more fun the amount of times he went down that stretch a shot behind and ended up winning by two, because people crumble under the pressure and he thrives on it. It makes a massive difference. But yep, everybody's back in tour. So the DP World Tour is obviously out in Dubai. Dubai Desert Classic is part of the Rolex event series. PGA Tour is the American Express out in California. And of course, the ladies are back at the Hilton Valley Tournament in Orlando. Excuse me more. So, as we know, this show is about, golf and where they're going to be, where the bigger tours are going to be playing, or the main tour is going to be playing. I haven't done any live, because obviously live, they don't kick off till, is it mid-February, early March, something like that. So I'll get into them as we get to their events. The only thing coming from live at the minute is the fact that John Ram is struggling to pick a team. I think the guys that he wanted to take with him from the PGA Tour have all said no. and he's really struggling with that. So good luck, John. I mean, I love you. I understand why you've done it, but yeah, I'd like to be a fly on the wall of that Masters dinner this year. But yes, I'm all about the fitness side and the nutrition side of golf as well. Um, so let's look at the fitness side before I do some the three news items that have caught my eye this week. Um, the easiest thing you can do is buy yourself a kettlebell. Whether you're trying to lose weight, build muscle, whatever sport you're playing, kettlebells are my go-to piece of equipment, and especially during golf. Um, no, and this exercise I'm going to explain now is the kettlebell goblet squat. So you can hold that kettlebell in front of you, close to you, either by the handle or by the bottom, or bottoms up, which is by the handle but with the weight above the handle. And you're just going to air squat, either or sit down on a chair and stand up. This is going to build your core, your quads, your hamstrings, and these are all things that create, your quads and your hamstrings create that springing effect, like the suspension of a Formula One car or a rally car. That creates that suspension springing effect to help you create some more speed with the golf club through the ball. Um, Having a stronger core means you're not going to be hurting your back. You're going to be able to turn faster or turn with more strength, more power. And the kettlebell goblet squat is a great exercise, 3 sets of 10. Add them into your routine. You will do very, very well. And it'll help with your distance gains as well and feel more stable as you swing a golf club. So that's your fitness tip for this week. Let's get into the news then. These are the three items. A couple of these we've known about for about a week or so, but they were just on the cusp of going in the first episode. But the first one is DP World Tour has confirmed that Chief Executive Keith Pelley will leave the European Tour after being in charge for 8.5 years. Obviously, he's a Canadian. He will join the Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment Limited um, in his native Toronto. He was the fourth chief executive since the European Tour's formation in 1972, and he joined in 2015 from his previous position as president of Rogers Media. He's 60 years of age and has overseen the transformative period and significant evolution and innovation across the European Tour. European Tour obviously being bought and now renamed as the DP World Tour, and DP World are a massive group. They're involved for most of the movement, most ports across the world. So the stuff that gets shipped on boats and stuff, DP World control a lot of those, and that's where they make a lot of money. They became the title sponsors, and obviously DP World Tour, as the European Tour does travel to all around the world now, not just in Europe. He said he was incredibly honoured to be in charge of the institution for the past 8.5 years. And when he came from Canada in 2015, he set out a culture of innovation and to grow the prize funds on the tour, not just for its members, but to appeal to new and younger and more diverse audiences. I mean, back in the day, I know the European Tour used to be really strong with the likes of Sevi and Alathabali and Wisdom, Sandy Lyle, late 80s, early 90s. The European Tour had a little bit of a stranglehold on some of the biggest players in the world. And then when Tiger came on the scene in 96, 97, that next sort of 15, 20 years, probably last near 30-year period, near enough. The PGA Tour has now had the stranglehold on the money. But a lot of American players like Brooks Koepka came from America to Europe to learn to play different styles of golf, and obviously served him well. The guy's a major champion and will be defending his PGA this year. So, the DP Tour is a good tour. Like with most things, we're struggling to get sponsors and struggling to be attractive to the younger audiences. And I think, Pelly did a decent enough job. And I think with the things going on with Live, it's very difficult to run a tour of any point at the minute because players are leaving. And I think looking back at what he's done, I think his missed opportunity for the DP Tour to make that a tour instead of inviting the Live players to play on the DP World Tour. He strengthened ties with the PGA Tour, which in hindsight probably a bad thing because they could have taken a little bit of money from Live and from the PIF, have Bryson DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, and all those guys play European Tour events, which would have been fantastic for the European Tour. And I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have said no either. I think if they were told they had to play a minimum 6 or 8 events on that tour, including their Live events, I think most of them would have said yes because they would have got their world ranking points then, and the European Tour events would have been made more attractive by having these players on them. But hey, he's gone at the end of 2024, and it'll be interesting to see what happens from here on out. And talking of people leaving, the second piece of news is obviously Martin Slumbers has announced he will stand down from arguably one of the most powerful roles in world golf. It was revealed last Wednesday or the Wednesday before last that at the end of 2024, with 9 years as chief executive of the Royal and Ancient, the R&A, Slumbers will be stepping down and away from the sport. In a career, there's time to allow the next generation to turn, and he feels at the age of 63 he needs to step aside and, in a transformative way, the R&A have made some big decisions under his leadership. And of course, most recent between the R&A and USGA is this rollback of the golf ball, which I think is wrong. I think they're getting that wrong. They're an amateur society making rules for professional sport. And I think it's the only sport in the world where amateurs make the rules for a professional sport. And I think they're ill-advised, and I still stick with the fact that the rollback is unnecessary for the sport. But hey, I'm not in the 1%, and the only people who are going to pay for that is the amateurs such as myself and yourselves. He's had 9 years as a good innings at the R&A. Over the last 9 years, there've been a couple of bits of contention, a few little rule changes, and obviously the World Handicap System being introduced across the world was a big thing as well, and the R&A and USGA had a lot of influence over that, shall we say. So yeah, we'll see what the R&A do from here on in. It's another person and another role going missing from the sport of golf. Third and finally then, news from this week is PGA Tour is set to lose yet another long-time sponsor. A new report suggested that the short-term future of the PGA Tour isn't looking any brighter as the US circuit is set to lose yet another sponsor. With John Ram going to Live, Jay Monahan-led tour lost a long-standing tournament sponsor in Wells Fargo in December. So the Wells Fargo is going to be the last one. I think 2024 is the last one. Wells Fargo is done after this year. And now another major company is the Farmers Insurance Open. Has a sponsorship. Well, we all know the Farmers Insurance. It's a great little event. A lot of big name players have won it. But Farmers Insurance has laid off 11% of its workforce, about 2,500 employees, last August in a bid to protect its long-term profitability. And I think it was one of the sponsors that Jay Monahan went cap in hand to when Live kicked off. And now these 8 events with $20 million and no cuts, where another company like RBC as well, which I'll get onto in a minute. They went to the likes of BMW and RBC and Wells Fargo and farmers asking for another $1 million or so to make the prize fund up to stop players from leaving. Well, clearly, with John Ram just left, I think both farmers and Wells Fargo and RBC can see that we're just being asked to make money, but the bigger players, we've had two world number threes in 2 years consecutively win majors and leave to go to live. So Cam Smith when he won the Open and John Rahm at the end of last year. So asking big sponsors to put big money in the world economic crisis that we're in isn't a good idea. And with Wells Fargo have said enough is enough. December is going to be their last one. And now in 2026, the Farmers Insurance Open is going to be the last one in 2026 named the Farmers. And they've had a 17-year, 2010. Um, so it'll be 16 years they would have hosted that tournament as the main sponsor. And they're pulling out of the PGA Tour, but also follows on the fact that the Canadian Open, won by a Canadian for the first time in a very, very long time last year. But RBC Canadian Open and RBC Bank are pulling out, and 2024 will also be the last year of the RBC being associated with the Canadian Open. So I'd like to know your thoughts on this. I mean, did the PGA Tour have a future? I mean, if they do get bought either by the Saudi investment fund or they go private with the other side of it, the sports group, the Fenway, I think it's Fenway or something like that, sports group that are trying to offset the Saudis. Do you think sponsors will come back? Are sponsors able to come back? Um, where should that money come from? The revenue, the extra money? Do you think that these I my opinion on the events is if they're going to have 9 events with no cut with the most money, it should be for the guys at the low end of the tail, not the ones at the top. I want to see the guy in 125th win $5 million, not Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods and John Rahm win $5 million because they've already got that money. They have that financial future. I think they need to reward the guys on the tour who are there fighting for their card year in and year out to make a living, make some money as a reward for staying loyal to the PGA Tour. What do you think? Send me an email, failsafefitness@hotmail.com. That's failsafefitness@hotmail.com. Let me know what you think about the PGA Tour, Live, and ask me any questions about your game, and I'll get back to you in the show. That's the news for this week. Those are just the three pieces that really caught my eye. It was very interesting reading through those. So we're looking at nutrition now. So nutrition in golf, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again this year. I think one of the main things a lot of amateur golfers don't realize is that when they're out in the hot, even when you're out with about 10 layers on in the cold, you still need to keep hydrated. And being dehydrated, you're going to move slower, you're going to feel lethargic, you're going to have a banging headache, and you're going to think it's the golf, and it's not. You need to be hydrated to play golf. So I've said, 18 holes of golf, if you're a really quick player and you're doing that in under 3 hours, you need at least a bottle of water an hour. So 500 mils is a litre and a half. You can have a few sips and you're getting through probably every 6 holes a bottle of water because you're quite quick and you're done. You can go and hydrate quicker. But if you're over 3 hours and you're somewhere in the 3 to 5 hour range for 18 holes, whether because it's busy or because you're getting on a little bit and you don't move as quickly as you used to, I think 4 bottles, of water, that's 2 liters on the golf course, will help you stay hydrated and help you keep your cool and help you be a better golfer on course. So yeah, three and a half hours, take 3 bottles of water or one large bottle of water. And if you're over 3.5 hour mark for your 18 holes, I suggest 4 bottles or 2 1 litre bottles. And you make sure that you take those, a sip off every tee in between shots and onto the next tee. Make sure you're drinking plenty. Keep your hydration up, and it'll keep your clarity of decision making a lot better. Trust me. So yeah, your nutrition tip for this week in terms of golf is keep yourselves hydrated whilst you're out on the course. Finally then, your golf tip of the week. This is something that I think everyone can do, and I mentioned it last week, is free speed. Everybody wants to get quicker. Everybody wants to be better. Now, I will link in the description. There's a link to a Amazon UK. There's an Amazon UK speed stick, which there's a cheap one and there's the expensive one that I have. You can pick between the two, but if you want to be better and you want to gain some distance, you don't need to buy either of these. My suggestion is that you do 4 sets of 4 reps times 3 times a week. So you do forwards and backwards, and you start out with a 9-iron. Do that for 2 weeks. So you do 4 sets of 4 reps, and then obviously as you just swing it normally like you would swing a golf club forwards, and then you swing it reverse. So change your grip and swing it. If you're right-handed, you swing it normal swing, and then you change and swing it left-handed. And then the second part of that is 4 sets of 4 reps, and you step. So keep your feet together, go to the top of your backswing, then step into your downswing. So you step and swing, and then close your feet together, top of your backswing, step and swing, and you repeat that four sets of 4 reps forwards and backwards. Do that. So you do 2 weeks, you do 3 sessions. You can either time them so they're like an EMOM. So every minute on the minute you do 4 reps. So it's going to take you 4, 8, 12. It's going to take you about 16 minutes to do. So you've got plenty of time to rest. Or if you're feeling physically fit enough, you can just keep banging away at them. Have a small rest. So do 4 reps and 4 reps the other way. Have 5 or 10 breaths and go again. Same again, same again, same again. Rinse and repeat. And you can do 2 weeks of 3 sessions with a 9-iron, and then move on to a 7-iron, then move on to a 5-iron. And just by doing this, you'll probably pick up some fast twitch muscle fiber, and you are going to gain some free speed. You haven't spent any money. All you've done is spend, I'm going to say 15, 20, well, anywhere between 20 and 40 minutes of your time doing this out in your garden, in the home, and it hasn't got, all this cost you is time and not money, and you'll gain some speed because you're building fast twitch muscle fiber. And that is your golf tip for the week. And that's pretty much the end of the show. All I'm going to say is if you do want any help or advice with your golf, with your training, with your personal training or your nutrition advice, get in touch. failsafefitness@hotmail.com. Link is also to the website. You can contact me on Instagram, Facebook, or give us a call and we'll discuss a few things and have a chat. Sessions are back in play at Himley Golf Centre, so if you are looking to improve your short game, your long game, currently the majority of sessions are going to be launch monitor based and sim session based, but we can do some short game and we can do some bunker play as well. So if you're looking to do any of that, get in touch. It's £20 a session, and 3 for 2 is currently available. So if you want to book a 3 for 2, so it's £20 an hour, that's £40 for 3 hours we can look at your game inside and out inside 3 hours, and we can look at, course management, your short game, your grip, your rotation, everything. We can take a look at anything you want. Failsafe Fitness will help you in more ways than one. All the links are in the descriptions. You can book online, you can call me, you can email me, and we will sort your game out. Thank you very much for listening. If you found any of this interesting, please like, subscribe, and share. Leave a comment. And of course, if you have any opinions on Keith Pelly going, Martin Slumbers going, or the PGA Tour losing sponsors hand over fist, let me know in the comments below. Have a great week. I'll see you in episode 3. Good luck to everybody out there. Enjoy your golf. Bye bye.